Alrighty, so on my graph, remember this is my y-axis and this is my x. This black dot is on my y-axis, so that means it is my y-intercept. My x-axis, that would be my x-intercept, but we're not concerned with that. That's an algebra thing, so we don't need that right now. So don't worry about that. So on this next one, we need to look at the equation for the graph. So before I even start, I see that my line is increasing, so that means my m, my slope, needs to be positive. So here, positive slope, positive slope, positive slope, negative slope. So this answer is wrong. The second thing I want to look at is my y-intercept. My y-intercept is that point on the graph where my graph line crosses that y-axis. So here, it is 3. So my b should be 3. That one's good, but that one's 1/2. That can't be right because that's the wrong y-intercept. And then this one has the right y-intercept. So I've got it narrowed down to those two choices. Now to figure out which one's right, I need to think back to my slope. So my slope is rise over run between pretty points. So I've already got that pretty point, and there's another. I see I rise 1. Hope y'all can't see because my face is there. And then my run is 1, 2. So my slope should be 1/2. There, my slope's 1/2, but here it is 2. So that is my correct answer for that problem. Oh wait, that's one we just did. On this one, I have to graph my equation. I see my slope is -3, so I know my line needs to go down because it's a -3. And then I know my y-intercept is going to be a +2, so it means it's going to be above the y-axis. In case we forgot, the first step is to plot the y-intercept. Remember, that's my b. Plot is just a fancy word for put it on the graph. So my y-intercept here is a +2, so that means I go up 2 from my origin. Then I need to graph the slope. Remember, slope is rise over run. Here, I see my slope is -3, and I know that if I need to put my slope into a fraction form, I need to put it over 1. Because -3 over 1, that fraction simplifies to -3. They're equal to each other. I'm not changing the number any. I'm just making it look different. I'm just putting it in fraction form. So if my slope is -3 over 1, that -3 for my rise tells me I need to go down 3. So I would go 1, 2, 3. And then I always run to the right. I run over 1, and I put a dot. And then my last step is to connect the dots. My last step is to connect my dots. I tried my best. I tried my best. This one was tough. You had to match the graphs to their equations. So they're already put in their answers. I already did that. But before they would be all mixed up. What I would recommend doing is first looking at the y-intercept. What is that y-intercept? Here I know my b needs to be positive 1 because it's above the line, but here my b needs to be negative 1 because it's below the line. And that would help me see, oh, this has a negative 1 for my b. That could be an answer. This one has a positive 1. That could be my answer. But they couldn't crisscross because this would be minus 1, but that point's not there on that graph. This one can't be positive 1 because that point's not on that graph. Once I have decided what the y-intercept is, then I want to look at the slope. So I want to find my pretty points. Again, if you click on the graph, it'll make it bigger so you can see it easier. But here, I see I go up 1, 2, and over 1. So my rise is 2, my run is 1, meaning my slope needs to be 2. Here, I go down 1, and I run 1, 2. So here my slope is negative 1/2. And I would do the same thing for those cards. Take a look at the slope, the y-intercept, see which graph matches that equation. And the last question, this is like the last question that we've had on the past few summatives. We give you an equation, we give you a table, you need to figure out what the y is. What number goes with that? You can do it two ways. The way we've been doing it and the way we've been showing you is to use the equation. So I do y equals negative 3 times my x. The first x I need is 2. And then I can't forget that plus 1. I would do order of operations to solve. So first I have to do that multiplication. Negative 3 times 2 gives me 6. Can't forget my plus 1. Then I add. Oh, that should be negative 6. Whoops. Negative 6 plus 1. If I do negative 6 plus 1, I would get my answer to be negative 5. So that would be my answer there. I can also take a look at my graph to help me answer that question. I can also take a look at my graph. When x equals negative 2, my y that matches that would be negative 5. And then I would do the same thing for 8. I would go all the way down, scroll, and I would see that the y that matches 8 would be negative 23. Or I can plug it in and solve it that way, whatever is easiest. Don't forget you can use your calculator. In my calculator, I would type x equals 8, and then I would type negative 3x plus 1, and then over here on the side it would tell me equals negative 23. And that would be my answer if you do it in the calculator. Good luck!